Now, while the country is celebrating Youth Month, the National Credit Regulator has called on young people to make smart credit choices in order to have a better financial future. And this, of course, as most consumers from different age groups, including the youth, are feeling the current rising costs of living and the financial strain that's brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, among others. Now, add that to the escalating prices of fuel, food and electricity costs, as well as interest rate hikes, which have not made it easy for consumers' pockets. The problems just seem to escalate. The National Credit Regulator has also urged the youth and all consumers in general to know their credit status, including the benefits of having a good credit record. So for more on this, we are joined by Lebogang Selibi, who is a supervisor at the National Credit Regulator. Thanks for your time and welcome to Morning Live, Lebogang.
Thank you, Sakina, and good morning to the viewers.
So just from the observations of the National Credit Regulator, what is the general status of young people and debt in this country?
With regards to our stats, we can't really isolate young people. We don't really specify between the age groups. Hence, we are appealing to, since it's Youth Month, to say that because we know that young people are part of the credit active consumers. So this message is really focused on them, but we don't really have stats on specifically young people.
So just on a more educational note, what exactly is a credit report and why is it important for one to have a good credit report?
Yeah, so a credit report is basically a report that is held by credit bureaus. It outlines a summary of a consumer's personal information like your name, your surname, your ID, your address. It also provides a payment history, how you actually pay your accounts on a monthly basis. Whether you pay or you don't pay, that information gets recorded at the credit bureaus and it appears on your credit profile. And it also shows any adverse information. If you have adverse information, it's basically negative information. Like if you miss a payment, if they hand you over to debt collectors, if they contact you and you don't answer your phone, such information, they classify it as adverse information. Any judgments that you may have will also go onto your credit report. Any debt review information, if you're under debt review, will also go under your credit report. There's also things like your judgment, your sequestration orders, etc. So it's basically a report of how you handle your monthly accounts, credit accounts, also your service agreements such as your insurance on a monthly basis. And the importance of having a good credit report is that firstly, it will allow you to qualify for credit if you want to purchase, especially your big ticket items like your mortgage bond. As we know that not everyone can afford to buy a house cash. So you will need credit in order to purchase a house. So if you need like a house or a business loan, if you have a good credit profile, you stand a chance of actually getting that credit. Also, you will get the credit a bit cheaper in terms of the interest rate. The interest rate that they will charge you will be a bit cheaper as opposed to somebody who doesn't have a good credit report. And also, if you are looking for a job, especially for the youth who are studying towards finances, where they will be employed in positions that require honesty in handling cash and finances, they will also look at their credit reports. And unfortunately, if it's a negative credit report, they stand a chance of not getting the job that they're looking for, even if they've got the qualifications.
And that's such an important aspect, Lebogang, but do you think that enough is done to actually encourage and also educate the youth to actually be cognizant of their credit record and credit scores?
I think a lot still needs to be done. We are doing it. We are doing education on a daily basis around the country, but obviously we still need to do a lot with regards to that. That we still need to reach out to the youth, especially those that are still in universities, especially those that have not yet messed up their credit reports, so that they know how to handle and and how to keep their credit reports clean. But the journey continues, and I think, as I said, there's still a lot that needs to be done in terms of education.
You said something there that just caught me when you said those who haven't yet messed up their credit reports, because a lot of time people may say, for example, as a student, you open a clothing account or, an account for a cell phone or some other technological device. And then somehow you don't get paid your stipend from whichever entity you are awaiting that, or your parents fall on hard times and suddenly you find yourself in a situation whereby you can't pay for those things. And very often we don't even know about the importance of these credit records until, of course, you try and apply for credit.
Yes, and it's very important. Hence, I'm saying we're trying to reach them whilst they're still at university, sometimes even high school, to say it's better even that they don't get into credit at that particular point in their lives. And when we go to varsities especially, we usually do educate them to say, rather don't take out credit, because you find that sometimes, because in universities, not knowing the consequences, they will say, I study in Gauteng, but I'm from the Eastern Cape, so they'll never find me. But the ID number doesn't change when you are in Gauteng and when you are in the Eastern Cape. So whether you took out credit in Gauteng, they will still list you. Your credit report will still be negative, even if you go back to the Eastern Cape. So a credit, and when I say messed up, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. You can still fix it, because all you need to do is to go and pay back at the accounts that you are owing. And then your credit report will gradually fix itself.
And what about disputes? If you have something on your credit report that you don't agree with, or perhaps you have paid off an account and somehow it's reflecting, or a judgment has been issued, how do you go about handling disputes on your credit report?
Yes, so that's very important as well, Sakina. So if there's any incorrect information in your credit report, you contact the credit bureau where you received your credit report from, and then you just email them. You just ask them how to lodge a dispute. In most cases, it's an email address or it's a telephone number. You contact them and you tell them this particular listing, I'm disputing it. Here's my proof. I've settled the particular account. They then, in terms of the National Credit Act, have a mandate to go back to the person that listed you. In that case, it will be the credit provider, to prove that the listing is indeed correct. If they can't do that, or if they find that it's indeed incorrect, then they will need to remove that particular a negative listing from your credit report. Hence, I'm saying it's very important to check your credit report, because if you don't, you won't know that the particular listing that you've once settled, it's still showing on your credit report, whereas it shouldn't.
Lebogang Selibi, that's all we have time for this morning, but thank you so much, and hopefully we'll have more time to engage on these matters. Lebogang Selibi is a supervisor at the National Credit Regulator, and with that, we're going to take a quick break before headline news.